Chapter 4 is presented by Ms. Aiman Adnan, the cluster leader herself. She will give the introduction to the state of FATA, and then Mr. Maroof Shah is going to take over to discuss social change to causes of militancy, and Rehan Khan will conclude this chapter by displacement to conclusion. Let me give a little bit of introduction to the presenters also. Ms. Aiman Adnan, she is going to deal with chapter 4, Turmoil in FATA. She belongs to Lahore, Punjab, is a student, and she is currently completing her MPhil in governance and public policies from NDU, Islamabad. Her interest is international relations, economy, and governance. She has already appeared in 2020, and her interest, I was quite impressed by what she wrote, that she does not like wasting food, electricity, and water. Conserving these resources is so important, and I think it was a very apt and good message at this forum at this time. Thank you, Aiman, for this. Next is chapter 2. Chapter 4 is going to be shared by Maroof Shah. Maroof Shah is from Quetta, Balochistan. He is Masters in English Literature from University of Balochistan. His interest is history and philosophy. The fresh aspirant will be appearing in 2021. And to conclude this chapter, there will be Rehan Khan. He's from Dera Ismail Khan, KPK. He has worked in NTDC, which is National Transmission and Dispatch Company. He's an electrical engineer by qualification and profession. He's done his electrical engineering from UET Peshawar. His interests include national, political, and social issues, mess in the Middle East, and international issues. He has already appeared once in 2019 and once in PMS 2018.
Hello again, everyone. So, as I said that I'll leave out the introduction for chapter 4. Now is the time. Now I'll be delving into that. So, another chapter that cluster 2 would be presenting is chapter number 4 from the same book. It's about the turmoil in the frontier, authored by Mariam Abu Zahab. This chapter talks about the society in FATA, its socio-economic realities, especially its greatest political reality that we just cannot ignore even if we want to. The Taliban culture, the Talibanization, the civil wars, and the tribal culture, ये सारी चीजें जो हैं are part of this presentation as they are part of the chapter. And साथ ही we need to see that, as it was also mentioned in the chapter, that FATA needs to be mainstreamed as a province or as an area in its own right, as it has been a long due battle now for the people of FATA to gain some sort of recognition and mainstreaming and socio-economic development that has been denied to them since a very long time. So let me introduce you the author. This person is Mariam Abu Zahab. She is a late author as she passed away in 2017. She holds a PhD in political science from the Paris Institute of Political Studies. She came to Afghanistan in 1974 for the first time. That is why she was able to eyewitness the entire Afghan jihad of that time. Plus, she is, apart from being highly intellectual and an enlightened person, she is also multilingual, and she has command over languages such as Urdu, Hindi, Persian, Pashto, apart from French and English. She has studied the Pashtun belt of Pakistan and Afghanistan, which has really helped her to understand and have an insight into the social relations between the Sunnis and Shias of this entire belt. So, first of all, let's see the geography of FATA. The erstwhile FATA, since now it's part of the KP, there are actually 7 agencies: Bajaur, Momand, Khyber, Orakzai, Kuram, North Waziristan, and South Waziristan. It has always served as a buffer zone between Pakistan and Afghanistan as the state saw it fit to do so. It has been run on the Frontier Crimes Regulation System. ये उनका एक बहुत पुराना तरीका है that has been going on since the time of independence, and it was also part of the colonial administrative setup of FATA. before before partition. This place is actually run by the Maliks and the political agents who represent the state over there. They have a jurisdiction and a stronghold over there, and because of this we can safely say that the people, the proletariats of that society, the working class, the laborers, the peasants and the poor people, they do not have much say, not at all, rather not at all. They don't have a say in the policy making and the governance and the voice of FATA and its representation. So, before I start explaining the causes for the turmoil, let me first tell you that what does Mariam Abu Zahra think of the turmoil that has taken deep roots in FATA. She believes that the turmoil is actually the Talibanization phenomena. So now let's see that what are the causes for the Talibanization in FATA, because that is what adds to the turmoil, that is what is the turmoil, and that is what perpetuates the turmoil. The first cause for Talibanization is that the government has been deliberately marginalizing the people of FATA and the region of FATA. It has been happening since partition, and the chain just broke now 2 years ago when FATA was mainstreamed with KP and merged into it. Then the issue of Islamization, this campaign that was spearheaded by Ziaul Haq during the time of the Afghan war, at the height of the Cold War, it took place, Islamization culture took place into this region, and it was actually infiltrated, it was actually put into this region to curb the Pashtun nationalism, as they wanted to have a Pashtunistan and a separate Pashtun area for Pakistani and Afghan Pashtuns. So in order to bring them under the umbrella of same national identity of being Muslims and Islamization, it really curbed that kind of nationalism that was brewing inside of them on the basis of ethnicity. Thirdly, she believes, Mariam Abu Zahra believes, that the cross-border tensions over the Durand line has really perpetuated the Talibanization process of FATA. It has caused more of a turmoil, and there has been no solution other than the border management that is being taken place right now as well. So the state of FATA, by this I mean, and Mariam Abu Zahra also means to tell is that how has FATA been viewed by the national lens, and how the state has been catering to the needs of FATA or has been recognizing it. So to answer to all this, she says is that it has been seen as Ilaka-e-Ghair by the state itself. Pakistan's state says that it's a strategic debt against Pakistan, against Afghanistan, and it has been a deliberate attempt to keep it a strategic depth and Ilaka-e-Ghair, so that it is very conveniently owning and disowning FATA at the same time. So before the merger took place in 2017, the administrative setup in FATA that was prevalent was on the same lines as it was at the time of partition. It was about the political representation through the Maliks and the Khans that I've already mentioned, and the state was represented by the political agent who with time became immensely powerful in that region. Apart from that, we also see that, as I've already just mentioned just right now, that the influence of the tribal elders, the Maliks and the Khans, and all the landlords, big bourgeois society and the elite over there, they were the ones who drove the policies. They were the ones who actually wanted the status quo to remain in FATA. They were the ones who wanted to have all kinds of funds, but because of their influence, no one could actually hold them accountable if the trickle-down effect of all those funds and that development did not reach the grassroots level. So before I hand it over to Maroof Shah, I'd just like to say that now we are entering into another domain that is covered in the chapter, and that would be covered by Maroof Shah. So Maroof, please welcome and do your part.
Thank you, Miss Aiman. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Ji, walaikum assalam. Welcome, Maroof.
And thank you, sir, for providing such a great platform.
You're welcome. This slide is very small. What is the problem?
So the social change and the economic causes of militancy. Sir, I don't know. It's fine now. I think so.
No, Maroof, थोड़ा सा अभी भी problem आ रहा है. Can you change the position of your mobile in the sense कि वो आप उसकी जो screen है वो आप कर लेते हैं.
Okay, it's better now. Yes, it's better now.
It's fine now, na?
Yes.
Okay. Economic causes of militancy in FATA is discussed in this part. So how the social change started in FATA without the political empowerment? As we know that the Pashtun tribal society has changed very rapidly in the FATA over almost in the last 4 decades. The migration and smuggling took place in 70s, 80s and onward respectively. Migration especially to Karachi and to the Gulf and the Dubai Chalo phenomena was much entertained. So the smuggling highly emerged in the middle class and created a social inequalities between the people of the FATA. Then the landlords, especially the Maliks, Khans, were socially superior. As we know that the Bhutto initiated some of the projects in the scenario of his political interests, where the landlords took the advantage of it. There was a lack of political lords were socially empowered. Moreover, one of the impact of the Afghan Jihad that the whole generation was socialized in the, radical Islam in the madrasas, along with Afghan Mujahideen. So in 1996, an adult franchise system was introduced. The elections were on a non-party basis, with the 298 candidates, almost 298 candidates stood for the 8 seats of National Assembly, and they stood for it. The adult franchise was demanded by the young, educated tribals. In a result of it, the participation of the tribals further eroded the authority of the Maliks. Their authority, their powers was further eroded. These all resulted in the future opportunities for both the young tribals and business elite. So the marginalization of the landlords and Talibanization further resulted in the different conflicts in the FATA. For example, Pakistani Taliban emerged and focused on various issues, conflicts, causes, as they initially supported the Afghan Jihad to support the Afghan cause. Then they stood against the forces of Pakistan, against the security forces of Pakistan. They also tried to counter the coalition of United US and NATO forces. Then they also emphasized the enforcement of the Sharia in the country. So if we talk about the socio-economic causes of the militancy in FATA, then we realize that the two different classes and their ideologies stood face to face against each other. So the lack of physical protection, the legal rights, and economic opportunities largely prepared the ground for militancy in FATA. Furthermore, the unemployed young tribals, as they wanted to find employment and status in the society. So both fulfilled. Through joining the militant groups in the FATA. This further demolished the authority of the Khans and Maliks. These all social inequalities led to the lack of the social harmony and unity between the people of FATA. Concluding my talk, that the militants took the advantage of the lower class in FATA. These all ups and downs, the challenges, these all led to the extreme poverty in the people of the FATA. So these all was about this part. So Rehan will present the next part. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maroof.
Thank
That
you,
was
Maroof.
nice. Okay, Rehan, welcome.
Hi everyone, I am Rehan Khan. I would present chapter 4, Turmoil in Frontier, from displacement till end. While people in FATA and KP remain displaced due to conflict, sectarian violence, human rights abuse since 2004. So as a result, displacement occurred. Displacement occurred as a consequence of collateral damage, tribal wars, sectarian threats, and drone attacks. The extensive military operations, sectarian violence, and conflicts among tribes compelled thousands of people to leave FATA and migrated to other cities of Pakistan. The another reason for migration was enforced criticization of Shia population into erstwhile agencies. The members of religious minority communities were often threatened and isolated, specifically on account of their religious belief, imposition of jizya on minority sect Muslims and non-Muslims. Number third is ethnocentrism. Ethnocentrism promotes a view of superiority over other groups like Masood tribe over other tribe because of their view that founding father of TTP belongs to their tribes. Such assumption evolved into violence, oppression, and discrimination. Number fourth point is that displacement occurred was xenophobia against religious denomination. Religious-based discrimination widely associated with the unrelenting Taliban-led violence in FATA, which forced many non-Muslims to migrate. Karachi, home to polarized politics, violence, absence of rule of law. Tribal people were discriminated against and victim of ethnic violence. Hundreds of nationalist leaders and tribal have been killed in Karachi in recent years because they were Pashtun. Now please come to the next slide, which we talked about the splitting of TTP. The basic reason for the fragmentation of TTP was why TTP splitted. The few reasons are change of leadership was not welcomed across the factions. The appointment of Mullah Fazlullah as chief of TTP created great concern for the Masood tribe, who were dominant in the organizational structure and policy making, could not accept Mullah Fazlullah as Emir of TTP. The second reason, split on peace deal with the state of Pakistan. In 2014, Taliban and government agreed upon month-long ceasefire, but Ehrarul Hind and Ansarul Mujahideen carried a take in Islamabad and Hangu in protest. Formation of splinter group based on similar ideologies. TTP Punjab and Mohmand militant left the TTP Pakistan because of disagreement with the leader of the on peace talk, and in August 2014 formed another group, Jamaatul Ahrar. Now we will discuss the steps to address the situation of FATA one by one. The first one is socio-economic intervention. There is a need to launch major socio-economic initiative in this region, particularly in field of education, health, and energy should be focused. The second step that need to be addressed is citizen engagement. Instead of engaging youth of FATA in populist rhetoric, the government should free tribal people from the clutches of draconian system prior to introducing any policy. Number third step that need to be addressed is sincere leadership. Post-independence tribal leader mostly lacked the competence and statesmanship. Most of the traditional leaders sought personal economic gain at the expense of community interest. So sincere leadership is a benchmark to address such a situation. Consolidation of the result of military operation. As we know that long-term success cannot be brought by military means only. Peace and democracy could only be established in the Fatah, while the tribal custom and modern ideas in law should go hand in hand. Good governance is also important in Fatah. That is, and the good governance is possible by extending all state institutions to Fatah, like police, health, high courts, local government system, etc. And number last one is sustainable development vis-a-vis SDGs. The socio-economic and political concern of Fatah could be addressed to sustainable development vis-a-vis SDGs. In order to meet the goal, innovative technologies should be implemented in PAG and specifically Fatah. Thank you all of you, and specifically to Dr. Arif Javed for providing such a great platform. And now we are here for question and answer session.
Well, that has been a wonderful presentation. All three of you, Aiman and Rehan and was it Maroof? Thank you very much. Very, very well split, and all three of them have done justice to their parts. Do we have any questions? Shall we come up with questions fast, please? There's a question from Ghulam Abbas. Sorry?
Is Ghulam Abbas your spy or decoy जिसको आपने questions देकर बिठाया हुआ है?
नहीं. Probably he is concentrating the most. How far the Fatah merger has addressed the grievances of locals and changed local political landscapes?
इसमें I request Rehan कि सबसे पहले Rehan इस बारे में बात करें. Why? Because he comes from the region of Tang.
Very
Rehan,
good.
so he knows the realities. उसके बाद academic जितना है वो I can tell you, and based on my discussions with other people that I can tell you. Rehan, I'd request you to start, please.
Yes, sir. After the merger, like the police system is introduced in Fatah, and one of the draconian law that was it is all of the Fatah people was FCR, that the political administration can put anyone into behind bar for several months, and there was no legal rights for the person to get a bail or any other. So the one that changed the people life is police services and abolishment of FCR. Now the government is extending also encouraging the people belief in political system and institutions. So now the result of merger and the fruits of merger, people are gaining it day by day, but it will took time. As the government have mentioned in the Fatah merger draft that government will provide 100 billion every year to Fatah. So it's now up to government that if they allocate such a huge fund for infrastructure and other health facilities, then it will definitely change the social life of Fatah people.
Okay, thank you.
As much as I know, तो इतना इस चीज पर डेवलपमेंट नहीं हो चुकी है। बात तो ये कि जब मेन स्ट्रीमिंग ये मर्जर स्टार्ट हुआ था, उसके अंदर भी बहुत ज्यादा लकूनास थे, बहुत ज्यादा impediments and problems आई थी, and everyone, all political parties were not on the same page. Neither were the Maliks and the Khans. Even they did not wanted to have a merger. Number one. Number two, जब ये मर्जर हो गया तो उसमें फिर मिलिट्री एंड ये जो आपकी एग्जीक्यूटिव एंड सिविलियन ब्यूरोक्रेसी की टसल है वो स्टार्ट हो गई. द मिलिट्री सेड दैट वी हैव डिलीवर्ड यू अ पीसफुल लैंड, वी हैव डन द क्लीन अप, बट द थिंग इज व्हाई इजंट द कंसोलिडेशन टेकिंग प्लेस? और वो अभी तक कंसोलिडेशन प्रॉपर्ली नहीं हो रही. व्हाई? बिकॉज मे बी इट्स नॉट द प्रायोरिटी ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. बस मेन स्ट्रीम कर लिया है फॉर टाइम बिंग, दैट इज इनफ. But abhi bhi, the education suffers, the health sector suffers, and there are people personally I've had this privilege of meeting people from FATA on a क्या कहते हैं, on a very large scale. और उसमें भी यही वाली बात थी कि उनके missing persons का केस भी होता है वहाँ पर. The people feel as they are second class citizens, and their treatment by the military and the police and the law enforcement agencies is not very civil. And they feel as if, you know, otherwise cultural lag भी बहुत ज़्यादा है वहाँ पे in terms of modernity in KP and other areas. And some of the people coming from Fatah themselves, they feel like that they are still living in the 17th century, जिसकी वजह से they feel कि they are not on the same page. वो पाकिस्तान का हिस्सा ही नहीं उनको लगता कि हम हैं, कि हम इतने सालों के बाद भी आज इतना पीछे हैं. कंसोलिडेशन ऑफ फंड्स नहीं हो रही, ट्रिकल डाउन इफेक्ट ऑफ फंड नहीं हो रही. वहाँ पे जो आपकी वो है इंटर प्रोविंशियल ट्रेड, उसमें उनको पार्ट नहीं दिया जा रहा. उसमें देयर इज अ टसल विद इन द केपी नाउ. और वो यही वाली बात है, सर्वाइवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट एंड द क्लास स्ट्रगल एंड interest of the elite versus the interest of the poor working class वहाँ पर. So all these factors ये सारी मिलाकर जो है, coupled with the कह लें कि burden on the KP government के जो अब उनको 1% अपने NFC में से अपना जो शेयर है उसमें से 1% जो उधर देना पड़ेगा, उस पर भी बहुत ज़्यादा कंट्रोवर्सी अभी तक आई हुई है. So it is we still have a long way to go. Merger के बाद मेन स्ट्रीमिंग अभी उस तरह नहीं हुई जिस तरह हम समझ रहे हैं. It will still take a lot of time.
I think, Aiman, your question, this detail has answered another question. Mohammed Naveed was asking that there is a need to link this topic with the present situation of Fatah. So you have already covered that also. Kafayatullah is asking that, Mujtaba Sharif, is Taliban a reality now? If yes, how much clout does it hold? How much clout does it hold, Taliban, if it's a reality?
रियलिटी तो है, बट द थिंग इज कि अब उनकी फ्रैगमेंटेशन जो इतनी ज्यादा हो गई है ना, उसकी वजह से इट हैज डन सम ऑफ द फेवर टू द स्टेट, बिकॉज क्लीन अप ऑपरेशंस तो पहले ही हो रहे थे. दूसरी बात की इंटरनल फ्रैगमेंटेशन उनकी अपनी हो गई, फिर स्प्लिंटर ग्रुप्स बन गए. फिर उसके बाद ये है कि नॉट ओनली फाटा, इसको देखने के दो पर्सपेक्टिव हैं कि इट डज नॉट ओनली कन्फाइन द फिनोमेना इज नॉट ओनली कन्फाइंड टू फाटा इटसेल्फ, बट वो अब ट्रिकल डाउन इफेक्ट उसका साउथ पंजाब तक पहुंच गया. व्हाट अबाउट द पंजाबी तालिबान? ठीक है, तो उस तरह की बात है कि इसके दो तरीके हैं. एक ये कि ये ज्यादा फैल गया है, एक तरफ आप कह लें कंबाइन हो गया है, तीसरी तरफ आप ये भी कह सकते हैं फिर कि इसमें इंटरनल फैक्टर्स इतने आ गए हैं कि अब द स्टेट इज पावरफुल दैन तालिबान. हाउएवर द स्टेट इज वेरी वेरी कॉशियस. अभी भी देखें पीस डील और इस तरह की जो बातें हो रही होती हैं तालिबान के साथ, सिंस दे आर अ रियलिटी, हेंस वी गो यूज देम एंड लेवरेज अगेंस्ट को मीडिएटर के तौर पे यूज करते हैं. उसका रीजन सिर्फ ये दे आर अ रियलिटी एंड use ourselves very carefully so that we
we're having some signal issues from your side, Aiman, if somebody else can answer. Okay, I don't know whether this is within your the ambit of your chapters or not. Zaland Khan has a question. What is the main reason of the abrupt Fatah merger? He means that the bill was passed very swiftly. Everything was just done in the blink of an eye. I don't think we can discuss this. This is something which is done by it's not covered in this book, I think.
Sir, it is not. But the thing is that it is not a new thing. ये बहुत पहले से ये प्रॉब्लम चलती आ रही थी, जिसमें लोग वहाँ पर परेशान थे कि हमारी बात क्यों नहीं सुनी जाती, वहाँ पर पोलराइज क्यों होती है. तो इस बार अभी भी है, इट इज टू लेट इन द डे, बट द थिंग इज एटलीस्ट इट हैपेंड.
Sir, I have an answer to this one if Aiman has done with this کہ اب ایک دم سے فاٹا مرجر کیوں ہوا ہے. Although یہ اس کتاب میں اتنا زیادہ ڈسکس نہیں ہوا لیکن کیونکہ پاکستان پر ایک ڈیموکریٹک گورنمنٹ تھی نواز شریف کی اور 2/3 میجورٹی بھی تھی اینڈ ایونچولی ہمارے سیاست دانوں کو اس بات پہ یقین آ گیا تھا اور ہماری ملٹری کو بھی کہ صرف فورسز کو استعمال کرتے ہوئے یہ ٹیررزم اور ایکسٹریمزم کو ختم نہیں کر سکتے. مور اوور یو ایس اے نے بھی پاکستان سے ہاتھ اسی بات پر موسٹلی کھینچا بھی تھا although other included تھے لیکن پاکستان نے فاٹا کو اگنور کیا ہے اور ایس سی آر کو پروموٹ کیا ہے. یہ کتاب تھی پاکستان ہارڈ کنٹری اینٹول لائیون کی, اس نے بھی اس بات کو بہت کہا تھا اور اس کے اندر بھی یہ ہے کہ 70 سال کی ہسٹری میں انہوں نے برٹش لیگیسی کو آج تک لے کے چل رہے ہیں اور وہ میڈیول ایرا تھاٹ پروسیس ایف سی آر وہ سب کچھ وہاں پہ امپلیمنٹڈ ہے. تو یہ کبھی بھی ٹیررزم اور ایکسٹریمزم کو ختم نہیں کر سکتے. تو وہ جو ایک ہاٹ بیڈ اور سینچری بن چکا تھا فاٹا تو اس کے لیے بہت اسینشیل تھا اسپیشلی آفٹر دا 2014 جس میں کوئٹہ کے اندر پوری پولیس اکیڈمی پہ اٹیک ہوا تھا اینڈ دین اے پی ایس. تو اس ٹائم اسینشیل ہو چکا تھا گورنمنٹ کو اور ملٹری کو ایک گراؤنڈ پہ اسٹینڈ کرنا. اس لیے فاٹا مرجر سامنے آیا تھا ورنہ یہ نہ آتا اگر ایک 2/3 میجورٹی نہ ہوتی اور اتنا انٹرنیشنل پریشر نہ ہوتا بیکاز انٹرنیشنل پریشر اب پاکستان میں بہت زیادہ تھا. بیسیکلی یہ میجر ریزنس تھے اینڈ آئی ڈو ہیو اے رپورٹ آن دس. یو ایس کی ہی ایک تھنک ٹینک کی رپورٹ ہے. if anyone wants to know میں شیئر کر سکتی ہوں بعد میں.
You may share in the CRC in the Critical Leaders Club groups 1 and 2.
مجھے تھوڑا سا ڈھونڈنا ہوگا اس کو بیکاز میں نے اس کو بڑا ڈیٹیل میں پریپیئر کیا تھا تو فار مائی اون ایگزام. سو آئی سرچ اٹ ڈیفینیٹلی سینڈ. بہت اچھی رپورٹ ہے پوری ہسٹری کے ساتھ.
All right, thank you very much. Khushbakht Farooq is asking, what is the current judicial system in FATA?
اسٹریم لائن نہیں ہوا ابھی تک. ایف سی آر جو ہے وہ بھی ابھی چل رہا ہے ساتھ ساتھ اور یہ آؤٹ آف ایکسپیڈینسی
having signal problems. Aiman, I can't hear you. Can you please repeat?
Sir, اب بہتر ہے.
Yeah.
اچھا سر میں یہ کہہ رہی ہوں کہ دس ہیز ہیپنڈ آؤٹ آف ایکسپیڈینسی کہ ابھی بھی انہوں نے ایف سی آر 100% جو ہے وہ نہیں ہٹایا. پلس دے ہیو ناٹ ایون کیا کہتے ہیں اسکریپڈ آؤٹ دا جرگا سسٹم. اس کا ریزن یہی ہے کہ the state wants it to be done in a very slow manner so that there is no uprising, there is no revolt. بیکاز یہ پشتون ولی کا ایک حصہ ہے کہ اس میں یہ جرگا سسٹم اینڈ ایف سی دیز تھنگز پیپل آر یوزڈ ٹو اٹ ناؤ. دے کین ناٹ لیو وداؤٹ اٹ ان اے بلنک آف این آئی. سو اس وجہ سے ابھی اس میں جو جوڈیشل سسٹم ہے وہ وہاں پہ ایکسٹینڈ نہیں ہوا جو پورے پاکستان میں ہوتا ہے. پشاور ہائی کورٹ کا کی جورسڈکشن ہے وہ بھی ابھی کہنے کو تو وہ ہو گئی ہے بٹ آئی ڈو ناٹ تھنک سو ابھی بیکاز آئی ڈو ناٹ ہیو مچ انفارمیشن ویری ویری کرنٹ پشاور ہائی کورٹ میں کتنے کیسز آ رہے ہیں.
Right. I would like to ask one last question to Rehan Khan because he's from there, and this is a question. Rehan, are you there?
Yes,
because
sir.
your part of the chapter dealt with this question. I very much. Kamran Shah is asking that if you are given a chance to devise a step-by-step model based on priorities to solve these major issues related to merger of FATA as mentioned in the presentation, how would you do it? Just mention steps for solution. I think your slide of the steps for solution, that was very much relevant.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to state that again? Rehan?
Yes, sir. The first one that is of immense importance is socio-economic intervention. Second one, citizen engagement and sincere leadership. Consolidation of the result of military operations, and the most important, that is a good governance.
سر ایک اور بات اس دن ریحان نے ہم سے ڈسکشن میں کی تھی. ہی مائٹ ہیو فارگوٹن رائٹ ناؤ بٹ ہی سیڈ کہ وہاں پر ہیلتھ کے ایشوز بہت زیادہ ہیں, ڈرگ کے ایشوز بہت زیادہ ہیں. تو آپ ریحان اس پہ بھی تھوڑی سی بات کریں کائنڈلی.
यस सर बिल्कुल. वो हम क्लाइमेट चेंज की बात कर रहे थे तो मैंने कहा कि मतलब उधर हेल्थ के बहुत ज्यादा इश्यूज आ रहे हैं. मतलब डे बाय डे कोई ऐसी न्यू डिजीज उधर लोगों में मतलब उसके सिम्टम्स शो हो रहे होते हैं. किसी के स्किन पे कोई रेशेस निकल रहे होते हैं तो किसी का मतलब और प्रॉब्लम हो रहा होता है. ऐसे प्रॉब्लम होते हैं जो मतलब इस लोकेलिटी में मतलब बार बार लोगों को इफेक्ट कर रहे होते हैं. तो या तो मैंने कहा ये जो मतलब फ्रीक्वेंट बम्बिंग हुई है इस इलाके में तो उस वजह से एटमॉस्फेयर में ऐसे कुछ इफेक्ट्स उसके रह गए हैं. मतलब ज्यादा जो हम डी खान में होते हैं तो इधर हॉस्पिटल में इधर ये लोग बहुत ज्यादा आ रहे होते हैं तो उनके ये प्रॉब्लम्स बहुत ज्यादा मतलब हेल्थ के रिलेटेड ये बहुत.
Rehan, who is Mohammed Arshad's question? Who is running the system of FATA police or administration right now?
एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन सर
FATA
अभी तक
police
तो
also.
एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन है. यस सर लेकिन उस कुछ जो मर्जर हुआ है कुछ इलाकों में अब पुलिस स्टेशन भी मतलब एस्टेब्लिश हुए हैं.
किस की है? केपीके की या कौन सी पुलिस है?
यस सर यस सर केपीके पुलिस.
ओके.
और अभी बन भी रहे हैं कुछ पुलिस स्टेशन बन रहे हैं कुछ कंप्लीट हो गए उधर डिप्लॉय भी हो गई है पुलिस. तो अब तो हालात काफी बेहतर है. मतलब आप दिन को भी जा सकते हैं रात को भी जा सकते हैं. पहले तो वो नो गो एरिया था.
ओके.
There's just a little request कि since आपका ये जो pool है बहुत बड़ा है students का, so इसमें I'm assuming there must be some people from FATA other than Rehan as well, so they can even give us their comments rather than questions.
No, we will not go into that. Na? We have to discuss what is written in the book precisely. We can't. One last question and then we are going to end this meeting. The question is from Muna. How much military operations added to the turmoil in FATA? I believe that this आपका चूंकि chapter topic था turmoil in FATA. So how much of this turmoil was added to by the military operations? Any link to the present situation that has been created now? I think second part is not relevant. The first part, how much did military operation add to the turmoil in FATA?
In my interaction with the people of FATA, मुझे तो आज तक यही पता फिर चला है interaction की base पे कि ये वाला question उनकी दुखती रग है. It is a sore point for them. While speaking, they just lose it because they say कि एक हद तक operation ठीक होता है. उसके बाद वो they say कि everything has been affected by the operation. And they have their own grievances और उसके अलावा कि वही curfews and you know वो जिसका भी रेहान ने भी जिक्र किया पहले आप बाहर नहीं निकल सकते थे ये ऐसा इशू था वो तालिबान की वजह से था. फिर उसके बाद वही जिसका अभी हमें क्वारंटीन किया है वो बेसिक स्टेट इंटरवेंशन है.
बिल्कुल सर मैं आपकी बात काट रहा हूँ. ये जो अभी मतलब पाकिस्तान में 7-8 दिन से क्वारंटीन बना हुआ है लॉकडाउन है इस तरह फाटा में मंथ्स के हिसाब से होता था. न लोग घर उधर फूड की किल्लत होती न कोई जा सकता था न कोई आ सकता था. और आपको सर मतलब सबको पता है वहाँ के लोग भी मतलब काफी पॉवर्टी में जिंदगी गुजार रहे हैं. तो एक किस्म का हेट्रेड फिर आया है. ये इससे तंग होके एक किस्म में लोगों में एक किस्म की हेट्रेड आई है वो स्टेट इंस्टीट्यूशंस के खिलाफ. कि मतलब ये गेम तक खेल रहे थे आप लोग और फिर हम इसमें मारे जा रहे हैं और तभी से फिर सर ये पीटीएम भी मर्ज हुई है इस तरह से.
All right. There had been a very detailed comment by Mukhtar Ali on this thing. Again, basically asking that how this, but that is more with the current situation. I think we are through with our questions. We have reached the end of today's space, and we will finish this. This is cluster 2 ending its chapter 4, chapter 3 and chapter 4. Cluster 2, thank you so much. I really have no words to thank all of you, the cluster leaders. I must mention here the names of the cluster, rest of the clusters also. Ms. Khadija, cluster 1, Dr. Khadija, Ms. Aiman Adnan, cluster 2. Cluster 3, next Sunday on April 5, is headed by Ghulam Abbas and who has already appeared once in 2019 in CSS. Cluster 4 is headed by Ms. Rebecca Shoaib, who is a qualifier of 2019 and she is waiting for her CSS interviews this time. Cluster 5 next is headed by Ms. Alina. who has appeared in 2020 and has a very methodical. All of these people, these cluster leaders, have a very methodical approach towards how to run their teams. And I'm very much thankful to the presenters today, all of them, one by one, if I don't remember their names. All of this, because we have been sitting here since last 3.5 hours now. My, of course, glucose level and oxygen is a little bit compromised as far as the brain is concerned. I'm so glad at having held this meeting today and all of you being here, so many of you. And I hope that this is going to stay in our memory for a long time to come. There are many more meetings to come. Definitely we shall be seeing each other again. Thank you very much. I'll end this here. Okay, bye.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.